Well, I'm not a real joke teller, but the one that I've been hearing, there's been some great humor in this horrible year, and one of them that I've really liked is that people who normally are don't stay up till midnight on New Year's Eve this year are going to stay up to make sure that 2020 actually leaves the picture. So I'm recommending that heartily for everyone. But Psalm 90 reminds me of years when we are not in such a good place. Psalm 90, Lord, through all the generations you have been our home. Before the mountains were born, before you gave birth to the earth and the world, from beginning to end, you are God. 70 years are given to us. Some even live to 80, maybe 90, maybe 100. But even the best years are filled with pain and trouble. Soon they disappear. O Lord, satisfy us each morning with your unfailing love, so we may sing for joy to the end of our lives. Give us gladness in proportion to our misery. Replace the evil years with good. Let us, your servants, see your work again. Let our children see your glory. And may the Lord our God show us his approval and make our efforts successful. Would you pray with me? Father, we do pray this evening that you would bless this body, the body that so ably leads our city, makes such tough decisions and makes them in ways that honor you. I'm thankful that in so many ways you have made their efforts successful. Lord, we would like to add one postscript here this evening, and that is that would you please hold off snow in Watertown until after November 9th. Also, Lord, I just want to lift up this year. It's been tough. It continues to be tough. But Lord, you have promised your presence with us. You have promised your peace to us. Most of all, you have promised to us that your love for us is unfailing and never changing and will never end. And so, Lord, that is what we are going to depend on. We are going to look to the cross and in Jesus see the guarantee of that love. We pray all this in his name. Amen. Thank you.
I'm going to call the Tuesday, October 20th Common Council meeting to order. Elissa, will you please take the roll?
Cash,
Here.
Wynn,
Here.
Ritten,
Here.
Arts,
Here.
Holthouse,
Here.
Wagner,
Here.
Schmid,
Here.
Wetzel,
Here.
Kilps.
Here.
Thank you. And if you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance All right. The first item on our agenda is the minutes of the council meeting from October 6th. Any questions, comments on any of those minutes? All right. Next is comments and suggestions from citizens present. We have one this evening, and it's Mr. Tom Levi. If you would please come to the microphone and state your name and address.
Thank you, Mrs. Mayor. My name's Tom Levi. I live at 132 Harding Street here in Watertown, and I strongly support Abigail Lowry, who is running to represent us in the State Assembly 37th District. She was disappointed to find out that you meet tonight because she has a meeting tonight of the Village Board of DeForest, where she's been a member for 3 years. But I agreed to appear on her behalf to speak to you and to the citizens of Watertown. Abigail is currently a stay-at-home parent with 2 children. Her husband's an engineer and a village trustee in DeForest. She has been serving as village trustee for over 3 years. Prior to that, she was a special education teacher and worked in various jobs supporting people with developmental disabilities. She also has a brother who has autism, and so she hopes to be an advocate and a spokesperson for individuals with disabilities as well as their families. She is running to provide good representation and responsiveness to constituents for the people of the 37th Assembly District, because there is a definite void in that category with our current representative. He has been serving as our current representative for almost 8 years now. He lacks the responsiveness, energy, and willingness to listen to what we need and respond, to address the concerns that we as citizens have and advocate for our needs. It is time to vote for a change in Madison. She is also running to ensure a good future for her children and all children across the state by making sure government works for the people and by taking action on quality public education in the state. If elected, Abigail hopes to put her local government experience to work by being a strong advocate for all communities within the district, including Watertown. I will share with you her priorities around local government. These priorities came from conversations with numerous residents across the 37th Assembly District, as well as local elected officials. Abigail will fight for nonpartisan redistricting legislation. Currently, the state legislature withdraws the district boundaries for our assembly districts and Senate districts every 10 years. That is going to occur in 2021 after the completion of the census this year. Whichever political party that has been in power at the time makes those new maps to benefit their party and their party's incumbents. In other words, the politicians select their voters instead of the voters selecting the politicians. They create safe seats, which allow their incumbents to get reelected every 2 years, regardless of actual job performance or regardless of going back to the people to seek reelection to the job. These maps need to be withdrawn by regular people, not politicians, in a nonpartisan manner to ensure fair maps for all parties concerned. There is a proposal to have a non-legislative districting committee make that decision and recommend it to the legislature. That would not pass in the current legislative makeup. Local control. Although there are a few things like water quality issues that the state should oversee, most times the state legislature has overstepped its bounds and taken away a lot of local control from communities. Abigail would be an advocate for returning power to you and to the local communities regarding decision-making in various areas. Another big one that has affected Watertown is property tax fairness, the dark store loophole. The city of Watertown, as you well know, was sued by Walmart stores for adjustment of its property taxes for the years 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. The city felt compelled to settle that court case on advice of counsel because there was a state case, Walgreens versus City of Madison, that allowed the dark store alternative to be present. Essentially what that says is that ongoing concerns like Walmart, the Walmart store, which is a very active business here in Watertown, should be treated just like the closed old Pick and Save store, which is now a storage facility because it is a dark store. There was a change to that was recommended by the legislature in 2019. March of 2019, Assembly Bill 146 was introduced. It was mostly supported by Democrats and not Republicans. It was sent to the Committee on State Affairs, of which our representative is a member. It sat there for a year and then was dismissed when they closed out the session in March of 20. Therefore, what she would do is to advocate to reinstate that law so local taxpayers would not have to pay the difference. The settlement that the city reached resulted in a $60,000 tax refund, as I understand it, for the personal property and real estate taxes that Walmart had paid. That property tax burden then was shifted to our residents and residential properties. Next, Abigail would investigate and advocate transportation alternatives that make sense for the 37th District. We well know that we were allowed to put an interrail Madison to Milwaukee rail that would have had a terminal here in Watertown some years ago. $812 million was refused by the state, and that did not occur. That would have made a big difference in Watertown as to our growth if we could have offered that light rail alternative. So Abigail would not only look at that as an essential need, but also because people need to get to their jobs and the economy depends on moving goods around the state and country, we do need to increase our infrastructure and repair our roads, bridges, and dams, especially with increasing severity of our weather. Abigail supports looking at alternatives in these areas and expanding mass transit across various parts of the state. I want to thank you for your time and allowing me to share with you my support of Abigail Lowry. I would urge you to vote for her in 2 weeks from today. And if you have any questions or local issue, Abigail's current priorities, she'd be more than glad to talk to you personally by telephone. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. We have no public hearings. Our next is committee reports. We have the Finance Committee from October 5th, 12th, and 14th, and Plan Commission from October 12th. Does anyone have any? Yes, sir.
Finance Committee, right at the top there, October 14th is listed as a Monday, 15th Wednesday.
All right, make that change. Thank you. Any other comments, questions? All right. We have no old business. And then under communications and recommendations, we are not going to have a library update this evening. So we will go to employee recognition. And in your packets, you'll see we have a few here with us this evening and a few that could not attend. So John Wayner of the Police Department is being recognized for 10 years, and Aaron Fent of the Police Department is being recognized for 20 years. Lane 4 from the Fire Department is also being recognized for 25 years of service. So we are thankful to each of them. We have 3 with us this evening. The first is Debbie Schuett. If you would please come on up. Judge, if you want to talk, you certainly can. Oh, they're both here. Come on up. I'm going to speak into this one. So if you come on up here. Come on up, Judge. Come on up, judges. Deb, do you want to come over here? It's taken me almost a year, just over a year and a half to stop. Yes, please join us. Socially distanced, but please join us. Sure. To stop calling Mrs. Schuett, Mrs. Schuett. I've known Mrs. Schuett since I was 5 or 6 years old, and so it's been a bit of an adjustment. But it's been wonderful to see her every day and to know that she provides such wonderful service. We ask each department head, or in this case the judge is, to provide a little bit of insight into each person. So Deb Schuett is the definition of an essential employee. Both judges, the Whiskey and Sweet, will tell you that the office could not run any more efficiently. She is friendly and well-liked by our many frequent flyers. She is very accommodating and kind to everyone who comes in contact with the court. And she knows the municipal court and procedures as well as the judge himself. Many defense attorneys who have contact with the court appreciate working with Deb. She is very easy to work with and a very dedicated and hard worker. I can't imagine serving this community for 30 years, so I'm incredibly thankful to you and to your family for being here and serving the community for such a long time. Anything you'd like to add?
Well, I would just say that I'm impressed with the fact that she was able to serve Judge Whiskey for 25 years. Well, she's only here for 30. I know you've been there. Debbie, you are so deserving of this. Someone such as myself coming in, which I can't believe was almost 5 years ago, having been on the other side, being the one to call you and asking for an extension or making the appearance, number one, as an attorney in the community, you were always respected, and I know you'll continue to be. Now as judge, that respect that we receive from others out in the community that make contact with us is largely part of what we do. And I just, thank you. You're great, and I did say you are the essential.
Thank you.
And Judge, you've got
Thank you.
much more experience. You're going.
Well, I didn't really expect to say anything, I just thought I'd get a chance to look. I can back up a little bit later to when Inspector Sukow was here with the police department, and I remember him, and I think I told Debbie this at some point in time too.
Many times.
and that she'd last maybe 6 months. For some reason, I don't know, I think it's because she came out of Bethesda, didn't deal with the kind of crowd that sometimes you deal with in the court, but really not often. But anyway, he was wrong. The other thing I would point out is that I was a municipal judge for 35 years, and when I came in, there was a court clerk at hand at that time, and it was picked out by the police department. At that time, the court clerk shared with the police department and with the municipal court. And she was very, very expedient, very knowledgeable, and very good. And then we had another one, and then another one, and then another one. I think it's either, she might have been the fourth year in my tenure or the third, I'm not too sure. All were picked out by the police department at that time, and they all made a hell of a good pick. And they all got better, and this has been the best.
There we go. Please join me in congratulating Debbie. Oh, and a few more. All right. The next one is Eric Bedstorff. Eric Randy is on remotely, but you can come on up. I'll be a fill-in, if that's all right. So Eric has worked for the Parks Department for almost 3 years and is a tremendous asset. He has been willing to assist staff with any work they have and willing to do whatever is asked of him. He is a very positive person regardless of the situation. And I have limited interaction with our 200 employees, but I can tell you that every single sentence that was sent to us, I can personally attest to as well from my interactions with Eric. Always super friendly, always willing to help out. And just a really, really hard worker. We're very fortunate to have you, and I hope that we have you for many, many, many more years. Thank you. All right. The last one this evening is Nikki Zimmerman. And if Jane Ellen, you'd like to come up. I just want to show everyone the amount of content I have to share on me. And you know what? Every word of it is she's worthy of. So I'll hand this to you right away.
Thank you.
So Nikki most nearly emulates the perfect employee, and this is so Jane Ellen. And whereas I have only known her for 20 years of service, I think a story of how she started here as a city employee explains a lot about who Nikki is. At the time that Nikki applied to the city was filling 2 jobs, one in the mayor's office and one in engineering. Nikki applied, was interviewed, was the top candidate. I'm paraphrasing, but not only to engineering and building safety and zoning, but to the betterment of the community as a whole. Nikki wears many hats. She not only performs administrative duties for 2 departments, she's the front line of communication and the first person for the public, vendors, elected officials, staff, and contractors and businesses to see when they come in the building. She handles all of these interactions with grace and diplomacy, tact, a good face mask, and a laugh. Nikki has a plaque in her office that says, "Everyone brings joy to our office. Some when they enter, and others when they leave. And everyone leaves believing they brought joy entering." That takes a very special person, and Nikki really is that very, very special person. Nikki has what is known in many circles as that go-give spirit, the willingness to participate above and beyond what is required, to step forward and lead when needed. She serves as the chairperson for the city's Employee Advisory Committee, and she was voted by the Watertown Chamber of Commerce as Employee of the Year in 2019, and that was very, very deserving. Like Mary Poppins, Nikki is practically perfect in every way, and we are so glad she chose the engineering department 20 years ago, and we hope she stays for 20 more years. Thank you so much, Nikki, for your service, your grace, your leadership, and the incredible example that you set every day. I know you make me smile, so. Please join me in thanking Nikki. Thank you, everyone. All right, then the next item is just 2 reminders. Reminder that we are having the council meeting on Election Day is moved to the Monday before. And then also a reminder that we'll have a short meeting on Tuesday, November 24th. That is the week of Thanksgiving. It's just primarily to pass the budget, correct? So it'll be a short abbreviated meeting. If that doesn't work for you, please let us know. Okay, next is the COVID-19 update. We'll come off the happiness for a moment. So this evening is my turn. All right. So numbers here, total investigated, we're at over just over 7,500. Confirmed cases is now over 700. And our hospitalization percentage is at 5%. We have 6,313 that were not a case, 214 open contacts, and our recovered is at 580. So that will bring us to, the 5 probable cases still remain, and our suspect cases is still at 269. So that brings us to where we are now. This is the graph that you see every Monday and Friday. Our active positive cases are at 134, recovered is 580, and cumulative positive is 714. You may have seen this weekend that the WED system was down as of Friday, I think around 5 p.m. for some updates to the system. So we didn't have data for a couple of days. This is the positive cases per day. I think what is telling from this chart in particular is right around the end of September, beginning of October, is when we have, took a pretty exponential increase, and we have not returned to those pre-October levels. That times out with when we return to phase 1, and we are still seeing essentially this, I would say it's safe to say we're seeing double-digit cases still every single day. This is the graph that we provided on Wednesday. We are currently still in phase 1. I spoke to you all at the last meeting about bringing on a very, very part-time contractor. They have worked on a bunch of infographics. Those infographics are with Carol for final approval right now, so that we'll have some good information, things that people have asked about pretty consistently in the community. And then they're also working on the phased reopening plan. So phase 1 is where we are now. When we rolled out that phased reopening plan, we were heavily focused on progress. We were coming out of Safer at Home. So what this consultant has been doing is pulling information from a bunch of different plans from the CDC and compiling that into an updated phased reopening plan that better stipulates, frankly, what we've been kind of at this point calling phase 0, which is Safer at Home in the chart. And then she'll also be better defining how we move backwards. Right now, it's very clear about how we move forward, and it's inferred that we move backwards when it's the opposite of what's on the chart, but we feel like we could be a bit more descriptive and clear about what those benchmarks are. Additionally, in the plan that we have out right now, 1 red mark would move us back. If we're at like phase 3, it would move us all the way back to where we are right now. So we are trying to update that to reflect more of the advancements that we've made since, frankly, since this was produced in late May. So the one that I want to point out is you'll see the yellow that talks about crisis care. There's 2 things that are important, and I'm not using technical terminology here. So there's crisis care and crisis staffing. Crisis care is when healthcare systems are making choices about who receives what type of care, who receives a ventilator, who receives oxygen. They're making those types of decisions. And crisis staffing is when we have healthcare workers who would otherwise be in quarantine or isolation providing care. We do have healthcare providers that are in crisis staffing, and more than one of them. And these are the definitions that you all have seen before. Oh, man. I didn't bring my laptop that I have my notes on. That's apart from Carol's numbers. A couple of updates that I'm going to try to think of. So we have brought on the contractor, as I shared. I chatted about the infographics. We also brought on ZBM. They're the cleaning company that cleans the municipal building. We brought them on for October, November, and December. 2 days a week at the street department. October will be paid for out of CARES money. November and December, the street department felt like they could move some line items around. If you'll remember, we had to close that office for about a week due to the spread of the coronavirus. So we got the test results back from the testing that the company does, and we have a very large amount of room for improvement with the way that that facility is being cleaned. So we felt like with the position that we were in as a city and the capacity we had with the CARES money, that we would contract with them till the end of the year, 2 days a week for cleaning at the street department. So there still is daily cleaning happening. Right now, to do their cleaning at the street department, they rotate between the crew. So there's 2 people that do it each day. So we need some greater consistency there with cleaning, just for the safety of our employees, and obviously they're providing critical services at this time of year in particular. So closing them for a week is not what we're looking to do again. I know that I'm forgetting one other item that was on that list, and I apologize for not having it in front of me. I don't want to wait on it though, so I will send that last item out to you all if it doesn't come to me before the end of the meeting. Any questions?
Based on these numbers, is contact tracing occurring, or has that been kind of?
Good question. Do you mind getting my computer? Would that be okay? Do you still have keys? Thank you. I appreciate that. Yep, and it's not locked. Your question was, based on the numbers, are we still doing contact tracing? Yes.
Do we have the capacity, I guess?
Yes, so that's one of the infographics that will come out this week. So what it will say is, when we have between 12 and 24 new positive cases per day, that's the threshold at which we start to bump up against our capacity to provide timely contact tracing. So when we're under the 12 cases per day, we can get to positives within 24 hours and do contact tracing. 12 to 24 puts us in the 48-hour range for contacting a positive and then doing the contact tracing. Once we're in over 24 positive new cases per day, this is an average for a sustained period, which we're currently defining as 5 days. And frankly, that's just our best guess. I think I would prefer probably 3 days, but we're gonna err on the side high and go with 5 days. That is when we would respond to positives within 48 hours or greater, and then only do sensitive case contact tracing. And right now, that's being defined as healthcare settings and schools. So, your everyday run-of-the-mill person that has the coronavirus, if they don't have someone in school or not in a healthcare setting, and we're at the threshold per day, we likely would not be at capacity to do contact tracing. Thank you very much. Other questions while I open my computer? Someone asked me at least one. I'm just kidding.
Mayor, can you
Yes.
tell me what testing we're doing? Are we doing the nose, the nasal, or the saliva?
So we are predominantly, in this community, we're doing PCR testing. And I don't want to speak out of school, so I know that we are doing, that PCR testing can be done a couple of ways. I would defer to Carol for more specifics than that.
Okay.
I remembered it without even looking at my list. Darn it, I got nearly everything except this one. So it's about testing. So I spoke to you all last time that we had a phone conversation with the CDC, and they were helpful in coordinating with one of our large educational institutions to have greater testing capacity on site. That also resulted in the city of Watertown getting 2 rapid tests, they're molecular tests, which are the higher sensitivity level tests, from Abbott. The machine is called ID Now. I know some of you want to jot it down. It's an Abbott lab machine. We're getting 2 of those here at the city. We will likely, if the city attorney and I and the healthcare providers can come to terms, we'll have to come up with some type of liability release. We do have a need from our healthcare providers to have testing. So we may take the 2 machines that we're receiving at the city and allow a healthcare setting to use those machines. We are receiving test kits with those, but, and we will keep some of them in case we have an outbreak that would be large enough that our hospital system wouldn't be able to handle it. So that was the one other update. Then the other one that I missed is this week we did, and this is a bit to your question, Mr. Pash, we did have to retool some staff. We had a massive influx of Spanish-speaking cases. Our city attorney is Spanish-speaking. So we did use her last week, and this week we're doing about 8 hours a week to assist in doing the positive case investigation and contact tracing related to our Spanish-speaking population. And and we also have some staff from engineering that are helping with kind of the back end part of, it's still contact tracing, it's the data entry and the forms that need to be filled out and entered into spreadsheets to help ease up on our healthcare, on our nursing staff at the health department. So we are retooling some of our regular city employees to help in limited capacities at the health department as well. But that is all that I have for updates. Any questions? All right, very good. Okay, new business, we have none. Accounts payable.
I'll make a motion to pay all accounts payable.
Thank you. Motion by Written,
Second.
seconded by Wetzel. Any questions on the accounts? Elisa?
Written,
Aye.
Bartz, Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Pash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
I just want to double back to your question, Alderperson, when they are nasal and nasopharyngeal swabs. So that's nasal and then in the mouth, nasal. And then the one thing I did fail to inform you all is we did today have our 4th death in the community. So we had 2 last week and we had another one today. So obviously that's not information that I like sharing with you all. And as I said last week, these are our community members. And my prayers are with their families during what I can only imagine is just an incredibly difficult time. Reports and miscellaneous business. You have the cash and investment summary from September 30th. Historic preservation and downtown design from September 16th and October 7th. The library board from September 17th. Licensing from October 20th. The Main Street program from September 15th. Police and Fire Commission of October 12th. The reserve balances from September 30th. The Senior Center Advisory Board from August 19th. Site plan review from October 12th. And the Tourism Committee from September 10th. Does anyone have any comments or questions on any of those minutes? Okay. Licenses, we just have one. This is to review and take action for a Class A liquor license application for Amber Smith doing business as the Chic Boutique at 113 East Main. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Bart. Who was the other voice?
I
Other
second.
Thank you. Seconded by Went. Questions, comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, then let's go to ordinances. Our first is ordinance 20-24. This is to amend chapter 532, floodplain and shoreline wetland zoning, through the removal of language and the addition of language and/or recreation of language. This is here from me and the Plan Commission on the second reading.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 20-24 on its second reading.
Thank you. Motion by Written,
Second.
seconded by Went. Mr. Moss is here. Any questions for him on this one? Elissa?
Written,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Pash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Next is ordinance 20-25. This is to amend chapter 550 of the zoning code through creation of section 550-112D, exceptions to the noise standards. This is here for me and the Plan Commission on the first reading.
I'll make a motion to approve 2025.
Thank you. Motion by Went. Seconded by Bartz. So this is predominantly, this isn't the housekeeping one. So this is for us to allow exemptions that were essentially already occurring. Is that correct? Any other questions? Elissa?
Went,
Aye.
Written,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Pash,
Aye.
Next is ordinance 20-26. This is to adopt the plan unit development, general development plan under section 550-152 for O'Connell Street. This is here for me and the plan commission on the first reading.
I'll move for 2026 on the first reading.
Motion by Holthouse,
I'll second.
seconded by Wendt. Questions? Mr. Britton.
Just a summary here, I suppose this is a step in the process of allowing AMVets to lease space in our city building over there?
It is. Yes. So to summarize the process, we had to get a PUD and GDP in place in order for it to be essentially a legal use of the space, a conforming use, and then that could attorney to negotiate a contract. Derek? Yeah? Come on up.
There still is one more step, that's the project implementation plan, so that will go through the same process as this one. So there will be a public hearing before that, but then that will finish out the plan unit development process.
Thank you, Jacob. Any other questions or comments?
So is this saying they can't have electricity inside the building? So are you taking that away?
So the list that you see for section 1 are the nonconformities with the zoning code for the land use that they're proposing. So this gives them the flexibility to do that and allow electricity for indoor storage facilities. Electricity is not allowed in the interior of the storage facility except the exterior lighting. This allows for flexibility to allow electricity in the structure. So this is a list of things that they're looking for flexibility from.
Okay.
Any other questions before Jacob gets too far? All right, thank you, Jacob. Elissa?
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Pilks,
Aye.
Pash,
Aye.
Wendt,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
All right, next is ordinance 20-27. This is to amend section 512-87, water lateral connection of chapter 512, water and sewers, article, someone help me, 11? 6, article 6. I haven't read a Roman numeral in a long time. Sorry about that, everyone. Water and sewer lateral control of the city of Watertown general ordinances. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works on its first reading.
I'll move to approve ordinance 2027 on its first reading.
Thank you. Motion by Pash.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Seconded by Ritten. Pete is online if anyone has any questions. Would you like a quick synopsis?
Yes, please.
Pete, you want to provide us a quick synopsis on this one?
Yes, certainly. We have been working for several years putting together a comprehensive program for replacing the private side-led service line. DNR has now opened up funding again for principal forgiveness loans. We would like to apply for these loans. We tend to believe we're going to score pretty high and hopefully get some seed money to begin our program. Having an ordinance in place, I think, is long overdue as we go on to the public side replacement each year. This year we did about 79 private lead services in our project area. We had 5 public homeowners replace theirs. Next year we have less than that in our project area, but with the program in place, which we hope to put forward with the special bidding separate from our annual streets and utilities to go along with that, we'd like to address private side replacements at the same time as the public and start working backwards in the city as we've been replacing the public for decades, and a lot of private remains. So the goal is to get the lead out. So we certainly hope this starts getting us in the right direction with these private side lead replacements in conjunction with our public side. So this ordinance change helps us put this forward. Again, this is something that we want to do at the same time we do our annual pre-project. So those full service line replacement is the goal, and this will help us attain that goal. And if we get awarded the money, the goal would be to have up to $5,000 available for the public homeowners, and then we basically would pay our contractor, and their full service line would be replaced. So we hope that there would be no cost passed on to the private side homeowner, depending on the cost of their project ladder. This is something that a lot of communities are doing now. We had this Fond du Lac, we can use this. There are a few options available now that were not in the past. Get our district run out of funding, now they have some new partial lead service line replacement funding. So $63 million available starting. We do intend to apply for that.
Okay. Any other questions for Pete? Or comments for that matter? All right. Alyssa?
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Next is ordinance 20-28. This is to amend section 147-10 auxiliary police of chapter 147 Police Department of the City of Watertown General Ordinances. This is here from Alderman Schmidt in Public Safety on its first reading.
Make motion to approve.
Motion by Schmidt,
Second.
seconded by Wendt. Questions or comments? All right, Alyssa?
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
All right, next is ordinance 20-29. This is to amend section 390-11K, definitions of chapter 390 nuisances, article 2, chronic nuisance premises of the City of Watertown General Ordinances. This is also here from Alderman Schmidt in Public Safety on its first reading. Motion by Schmidt,
I'll second.
seconded by Wendt. Questions, comments?
Should we get some background on this,
Sure.
please?
So essentially, what the old ordinance was in non-compliance to state law change in regards to concealed carry permits for property tenants. And so this essentially just brings it into compliance with what the state already set forth for people who have a CCW to allow to carry without having to be on a nuisance issue. Is that right, Rose?
Any other questions or comments? Alyssa?
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
All right, next is our resolutions. The first is Exhibit 9101. This is a resolution to approve lease of cropland to Rosie Lane Hosting LLC. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll make a motion to approve exhibit 9101.
Motion by Britton,
I'll second.
seconded by Schmidt. Questions or comments?
Is this an annual thing that we're doing already?
It's every 3 years. Yeah, so we put it out for bid in the newspaper, right? In the newspaper, yep. And I think they were our only bidder. And then negotiate a contract and they use our land. Good question. Any others? You want the roll on that?
Sure.
Alyssa?
Britton,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Next is Exhibit 9102. This is a resolution to grant permanent easement to We Energies parcel 291-0815-0421-122. This is here from me.
Move to approve Exhibit 9102.
Thank you. Motion by Pash,
Yeah, I'll second that.
seconded by Ritten. This is for the library project, if that's not overly obvious in this map. Light pole needs to be moved, and a lot of footwork has gone into getting this one taken care of in engineering and the city attorney's office and the library, so I promised Peg that I'd answer any questions you all have, if you have any. Otherwise, go ahead, Alyssa.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Kilps,
Aye.
All All right, next is 9103, Exhibit 9103. This is a resolution to approve the application and financial commitment to the Jefferson County CDBG for the downtown seawall. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll move to approve exhibit 9103.
Motion by Ritten,
I'll second.
seconded by Schmid. Questions? Are you fine with voice? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, next is Exhibit 9104. This is also a resolution to support the application and financial commitment to the Jefferson County Community Development Block Grant. This is for the Second Street Park. This is here from Alderman Bartz in Park Recreation and Forestry.
I'll move to Exhibit 9104.
Motion by Pash. You had me doing a lot of these. Seconded by Bartz. You really pump faked me. I thought you were going for it. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next is Exhibit 9105. This is a resolution to approve wastewater collections pump control upgrades for Bolton Street and East Main Street, the Haiti lift stations. This is here from Alderman Pash and Public Works.
I'll move to approve Exhibit 9105.
Motion by Pash.
second.
Seconded by Wetzel. Any comments or questions? Elissa?
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Ritten,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Thank you. And then the last one this evening is Exhibit 9106. This is a resolution for the extension of the declaration of the state of emergency. This is here from me.
I'll move to approve exhibit 9106.
Motion by Ritten,
I'll second.
seconded by Holthouse. I apologize for this getting late on the agenda. The one thing I was worried about happening, me not remembering in time, did indeed happen. So my apologies, not trying to sneak one past anybody. I just frankly was in the middle of a meeting. I was in the middle of the mayor meetup. You can ask anyone that was on it. And it dawned on me that I hadn't done this. Nothing changed in here except the date.
What is the date? It says the 31st of 2020.
December.
It
December.
doesn't say December.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mine says December.
No, mine did not either.
Yeah, mine doesn't either.
It says it online, I see it here online.
Yeah, that's weird. Mine says December.
Yeah, I got October stricken out and November, or December taken away.
Yeah, that's what I have as well.
Mine doesn't.
We didn't get that on the last line. We did not get that.
There's an email from Rick, was it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at.
So do you want an amendment for it to say December, since some of us have it and some of us don't?
Yeah.
I think this, well, the cleanest would be an amendment. I mean, I think we could chalk it up to a clerical error, but, I mean, you can make a formal amendment and it'll be
Okay.
solid.
Then let's do that. December is what I was going for.
So I'll amend my motion to clarify December 31st, 2020, at 11:59 PM, the expiration date.
So are we fine making just an amendment to the ordinance, or do you want him to amend his motion to include it?
Was it seconded yet? Yes.
It was, by Holthouse.
And are you amenable to that amendment? You
Okay.
will also second that amendment? Then it is.
Okay, all right. Thanks for pointing that out, Alderperson Kilps. I'm not sure what happened, but December 31st is what we're going with. So I just did the next 2 months in conjunction with what the request was last time for 2 months. Any other questions or comments? Elissa?
Ritten,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Holthouse,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmid,
No.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Hill,
No.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
All right, thank you all very much. The next item is comments and suggestions from citizens present. Sir, did you want to comment on anything before we adjourn?
I was just asking about burial costs. We don't have.
We will connect. This is the gentleman we spoke to in the hallway, Jane Ellen, if you wouldn't mind chatting with him. Okay, with that, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Motion by Schmidt. Seconded by Holthouse. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.